Jadan Sampada Nipada Jadana Sampada Gaurangera Dutipada Jadana Sampada Gaurangera Dutipada Jadana Sampada Sejana Bhakati Rasasa Sejane Bhakati Rasasa Gaurangera Madhulila Jarkarne Pravishila Gaurangera Madhulila Jarkarne Pravishila Hridoya Nirmala Belota Hridoya Nirmala Belota Jai Gaurangir Namalo Tar Hoy Primado Jai Gaurangir Namalo Tar Hoy Primado Tare Mui Jai Bolihari Tare Mui Jai Bolihari Gauranga Gunete Jure Nitya Lila Tare Spure Gauranga Gunete Jure Nitya Lila Tare Spure Sejana Bhakati Adhikari Sejana Bhakati Adhikari Gaurangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Kari Mane Gaurangera Sangigane Nitya Siddha Karimane Se Jaya Vrajendra Sutapash Se Jaya Vrajendra Sutapash Shri Gauramandala Bhumi Jai Bhajane Chintamani Shri Gauramandala Bhumi Jai Bhajane Chintamani Tahoy Vraja Bhumi Bas Tarahoya Vraja Bhumi Bas Gaura Prema Rasarnave Shetarange Jiva Dubhe Gaura Prema Rasarnave Shetarange Jiva Dubhe Se Radha Madhava Antaranga Se Radha Madhava Antaranga Grihe Baba Nite Take Hagoranga Bole Dake Grihe Baba Nite Take Hagoranga Bole Dake Narottama Mage Tarasanga Narottama Mage Tarasanga Grihe Baba Nite Take Hagoranga Bole Take 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 Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Tai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Kai Gaura Haribo. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Hey! Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Hey! Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Doyal Tonai He Doyal Tonai He Hemon Doyal Tonai He Markeye Prima De Hemon Doyal Tonai He Markeye Prima De Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Hey! Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Ore aparada dure jabe pabe premadan. When your offenses are being vanquished, you'll obtain the treasure of love of God. Ore aparada dure jabe pabe premadan. But in these names of Chaitanya and Nitai, there's no consideration of offense. Vicharatonai he. Vicharatonai he. O name aparad vicharatonai he. O name aparad vicharatonai he. Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Nachriyar Marman Hey! Doyalitai Chaitanya Bole Nachriyar Marman Takon Krishna Name Ruchi Habe Guchi Bebandan Takon Krishna Name Ruchi Habe Guchi Bebandan Anuragdo Habe. Once you have a taste for chanting the holy name of Krishna, Anuragdo Habe, bondage to this world will come to an end. Krishna Name Anuragdo Habe. Krishna name anuragto habe. Jai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Doyal nitai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Hey! Doya nitai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Thako nanayase sapal habe jivera jivan. Thako nanayase sapal habe jivera jivan. Jivanto miche, Jivanto miche, Krishna Rati Bina, Jivanto miche, Krishna Rati Bina, Jivanto miche. Doya nitai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Doyal nitai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Hey! Doya nitai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Sheshe Brindabane Radha Shamer Pave Darshan. Sheshe Brindabane Radha Shamer Pave Darshan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was married to Lakshmi, many people came to his wedding. They came from everywhere. And they lined up to receive the gifts that he gave away. There were garlands and sandalwood pulp, precious Mahaprasadam. And then he noticed that some people were getting in line, getting their gift, and then he'd get back in line to take again. So then he made an announcement. He said, everyone may take as many times as they like. Because he didn't want them to make any offense by taking more than their share and becoming greedy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so kind that he notices the conditioned souls, and then he makes an arrangement to deliver them one way or the other. So all the devotees and the people of the world can chant the names of Gaur Nitai and find in their hearts the deep compassion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who delivers them from the mire of material existence. And when they do feel this, they wake up in the morning, they jump out of bed, and they sing, Gaura Kripa Hole Hey, Gaura Kripa Hole, Gaura Kripa Hole Hey, 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 Gaura Kripa Hole Hey. Doyali Tai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Doyali Tai Chaitanya bole nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Nachare armarman. Hey! Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Doyal Nitai, Chaitanya Bole, Nach Re Amar Man, Doyal Nitai, Chaitanya Bole, Nach Re Amar Man. Nachri Amar Man, Nachri Amar Man, Nachri Amar Man, Nachri Amar Man. Hey! Nachri Amar Man, Nachri Amar Man, Nachri Amar Man, Nachri Amar Man. Hey! Nachre Amar Man, Nachre Amar Man. Go Premanande, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Now we're going to take a 2-minute break while Mukaravind reads a few of these special selected verses for your edification in spiritual life.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna.
Let's give it a shot.
Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto 15th chapter verse number 8. Naita drisha paro dharmo ninam saddharmam ikshatam nyaso dandasya bhutesu manovak kayajasya yah. The translation is: person who wants to advance in superior religion are advised to give up all envy of other living entities, whether in relationship to the body, words, or mind. There is no religion superior to this. Next, Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 22nd chapter verse number 35. Etavad janma safalyam dehinam iha dehisu praner arther dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada. Translation: it is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence and words. Next, Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto chapter 52 verse number 43. Yashrangi pankajraja snapanam mahanto vanchante umapatirivatma tamopahatye Yarhai ambujakšnalabhe bhavat prasadam jayam asunvrat krisant sajjanmabhishyat. Translation: O lotus-eyed one, great souls like Lord Shiva hanker to bathe in the dust of your lotus feet and thereby destroy their ignorance. If I cannot obtain your mercy, I shall simply give up my vital force, which will have become weak from the severe penance I will perform. Then after hundreds of lifetime of endeavor, I may obtain your mercy. Next verse is from Mukundmala Srot. It's one of the Prabhupada's favorite. Krishna tvadiya pada pankaj panjarantam adyeva me vishatu manas rajahamsa prana prayana samaye kaphavat pitte kantavarodhana vidhau smaranam kutaste. Translation: O Lord Krishna, at this moment let the royal swan of my mind enter the tangled stems of the lotus of your feet. How will it be possible for me to remember you at the time of death, when my throat will be choked up with mucus, bile and air? Next, Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 12. Sruto nu patito dhyayata adrito vanumodita sadya punati saddharmo deva vishwadruhopihi. The translation: pure devotional service rendered to the Supreme Lord is spiritually so potent that simply by hearing about such transcendental service, by chanting its glories in response, by meditating on it, by respectfully and faithfully accepting it, or by praising the devotional service of others, even person who hate the demigods and all other living being can be immediately purified. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Mukarvin Prabhu. So gift is something that we get without any expectation of return, at least the best of gifts. Oftentimes in the material world people give gifts, but they want something in return. So the effect of the gift is diminished. Because when I realized that actually it was tit for tat, they wanted something from me when they gave the gift, then it's not heartfelt. But when a gift is heartfelt, when it's given without any thought that I want something in return, but simply out of overflowing gratitude and love, then it becomes one of the most powerful of forces in this world. That is the intention behind it. And we find in the instructions called the Upadeshamrita, that is the nectar of the instructions, which are given by Rupa Goswami. He filters Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special instructions to him and then puts them in a condensed form and then calls it Amrita, just like when you cook down milk and you make kheer and it becomes thick and sweet. So in a similar way, the Goswamis, especially Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, have imbibed the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then given them in condensed forms. So very sweet. And in the teachings of Rupa Goswami, he says, Dadati pratagranati guhya makyati prachiti punkte bojayate chaiva shadvidham pratilakshanam. That there are 6 loving exchanges between one devotee and another, and one is giving gifts, or 2 of them, and accepting gifts. And the gift of spiritual life is the best gift of all. Those, say the gopis, who are the topmost of all Krishna's devotees, who dedicate their lives to giving this gift to others, are known to be the best of all gift givers. They say so in a prayer, Tavakatam Ritam Tatta Jivanam, and they describe how the material life is very harsh and burning, but the devotees are so kind that they go everywhere and they distribute the nectar of Krishna's names and his instructions. And this is like a salve which stops the burning sensation for the living entities in this material world. Anyone who comes in contact with the transcendental sound vibration emitted by the devotees of the Lord becomes satisfied in heart. This is mentioned by Kapila Dev, who says, Satam prasangam mamavirya sambido bhavanti shritkarna rasayana kata taj joshana ashua pavarga vartmani shradharatir bhaktir anukramishruti. And that is, if one is fortunate enough to be in the association of Vaishnavas, then he or she will hear a transcendental vibration that will enter the ear and into the heart, and which will eradicate the burning of material life, which is characterized by pavarga, which means one must work very hard. As soon as you come out of the womb, your parents tell you that you're going to have to work hard. In fact, you're going to have to work late. As soon as the little baby's born, the parents inform, they give him a little chit that says you have to work hard, and then you'll have to work overtime in order to survive in the world. And you may not survive. It's a very dangerous place. And pa means that you have to work so hard that foam will come from your mouth in order to make it in the world, even to stay alive. And then there will be disappointment, ba. And then there will be fear. Ba means bhayam, fear. And ma, at the end of all this, there's mrityu, death. However, the sound vibration, the gift of the sound vibration, reverses the process of birth, death, old age, and disease, and the hard work of material existence. There's no work in the spiritual world. In fact, there are airplanes in Vaikuntha. They're flower airplanes, and they're not for business trips. They don't carry business cargo. They don't have people with briefcases, but they're for pleasure trips only. And this is the mode of the spiritual world. In Goloka Vrindavan, we notice that Krishna has bare feet and he plays a flute. Because, as Prabhupada told us about why Krishna plays the flute, because he's all play and no work. Here in Silicon Valley, everyone's all work and no play. So the opposite is there in the spiritual world. So one who gives this gift of spiritual life to others is known as the greatest gift giver, according to the gopis. And one who receives the gift knows in due course of time that I have received the greatest gift. Sometimes we're given a gift and we don't appreciate it. We may think it insignificant. So the devotees, nonetheless, wander the world simply for the purpose of taking the gift that they've been given and appreciating it more and more. And the more we chant Hare Krishna ourselves and try to refine our chanting, and the more that we try to develop our own sadhana, it's up to us, because living entities don't like to be told what to do. If anybody gives them instruction, they'll reject it. They're independent. They have the same nature as Krishna, only they're tiny. So when they disregard the instructions of Krishna, then they fall into a mess of trouble called the material world. So people don't like to be told what to do. They want to remain independent. But if one somehow or other can understand that by following Krishna's benevolent instructions, that I will be benefited. And then with all of one's strength, day by day, one practices to develop a sadhana. That means a solid practice. This is the way that you wear a groove in the stone. Is every day you have to make an attempt to grind it a little bit. And even some fine powder comes out of it. After 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, you'll start to notice that there's an actual line in the stone. And those who are able to take up the process of reading Srila Prabhupada's books every day, without fail, and also chant 16 rounds minimum without becoming majorly distracted, and who take on the austerity of following the 4 regulative principles, and then especially eating prasadam, not eating in restaurants and other kinds of places, unless for business you're absolutely forced to do so, which may happen in a particular time of our life, just to make us appreciate the gift even more. So that when we do have the opportunity to take only prasadam, we'll say, thank you very much, Krishna. Now I know that it's not an ordinary thing to sit down in the line of devotees and take Krishna prasadam. And so this spiritual life is the greatest gift. In fact, the word sampradaya means a complete gift that's being passed down to us from Krishna through the loving hands of his Vaishnavas who appreciate the gift and who therefore go out and give it to others. In fact, it's said of Shukadeva Goswami that he went out into the world with no other purpose except for giving mercy, because he had no stake in the material world, no vested interest, and nothing to do here except to go and give Krishna consciousness. How's the temperature here in here for everybody? It's warm? Okay, turn it down 2 degrees. Everybody should feel a little braced in here, especially for the Bhagavatam class. So, if one develops this solid sadhana, every day one has a time marked out to hear and chant by reading the Bhagavatam, chanting at least 1 chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day and studying the verses and purports, and chanting good rounds, and hearing some lectures. This doesn't take much time, but the more one develops that as a solid principle in one's life, one realizes the great gift that one's been given. And from there, one can also give it to others, to the degree that one's own bhajan, or sadhana, has become a solid feature in his or her life. To that degree, the devotee can give it to others. And not just deliberately give, but that person's life becomes a gift to others by the example that he or she sets, because of dedication to the principle of hearing and chanting, and to remembering Krishna, to keeping one's words restricted to speaking about Krishna. And this is the greatest gift that one can give, one's example and one's association in that regard. So once upon a time, there was a very poor man, and this represents every living entity in the material world who thinks that I'm very, very poor. Because actually in the material world, as soon as we're born, Krishna says, then we're faced with death. And we have to face very difficult odds here. The odds are that at any second we'll die. And this puts a severe psychological strain on the living entity. Although we're not going to die because we're eternal and we never die, still my psychology here in this world is based around the fact that at any second I can die, and that I have to somehow or other survive. So this is the poor condition of the living entity. He's reduced to this impoverished condition of life and is simply begging every day for his very life. So this particular poor man one day met an all-knowing astrologer. And it is some relief when you meet somebody with a wider perspective that can help you. For instance, if you're sick and you meet a doctor who actually knows what he or she is talking about, then you feel some relief that now I can diagnose what I have and then cure it. Or an astrologer who can tell you, oh, you need to make some adjustments in your life because you're being afflicted by various planets. There's some feeling of relief. So the poor man felt relief when he met this all-knowing astrologer, because why am I so poor? This is one of the questions people ask astrologers, what's wrong with me? And the astrologer will look at your chart, saying the same thing that's wrong with everybody. Everyone's astrological chart will show ups and downs. You say, yes, you have this very nice feature, but then it's afflicted by this other planet. There's a mixture. Of course, when you look at the chart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you'll see it's such an exalted chart. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to the world, he's not forced here, or he's not afflicted by any external force, because he's the controller of the entire material world. And he then is able to liberate all the living entities, and even those who just remember him and know this about him, that he's not part of the world as we are, becomes liberated as well. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvata tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sojana. Krishna says, if you understand this about me, when I come into the world, I'm not controlled by planets, I control the planets. If someone then aligns oneself with such a personality as Lord Chaitanya and remembers him in his lion-like roar in teaching Krishna consciousness, then one becomes free from all fear. So this poor man met this all-knowing astrologer who looked very carefully at his chart. You can imagine the poor man as he was waiting to hear the results. Why am I suffering? Why am I suffering? Why am I suffering? Why am I suffering? And the answer of the astrologer was, you're needlessly suffering, because actually you come from the wealthiest of families. You've been estranged from your family. You've forgotten them. But they never forgot you. They actually left you a treasure. Your father buried it for you. It's in your backyard. And all you have to do is go and dig for it. And then as the gift of this knowledge unfurls, the poor man hears that there's a certain way to dig for it, and there's a certain way not to dig for it. And this is the power of this scripture. This is the power of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. It gives us very specific instruction. It speaks directly to us as souls from the spiritual world. It says you don't belong to the material world at all. You're a part of a higher realm. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yatsak sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. There is a realm which you're part of that's beyond the fallible realm of the material world. It's never destroyed at the time of destruction. It goes on eternally. And your means of going to that place is assured if you simply follow the process which is given in the Shastra. And you'll receive your treasure very easily. And so those scriptures Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami are just like a treasure map. When you get the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita, as last night as we were chanting in downtown Palo Alto, one of the most affluent and at the same time laid back places in the entire world, we saw that many people walked away with these treasure maps. Some of them were standing on the street reading them, trying to find out. Like they'd look inside the book and it says, "You are here." And then say, "Oh, I'm in the middle of the material world. No wonder I'm suffering." Then it shows, "Here's your goal." And it will show the picture of the spiritual world. So when one receives the treasure map of the scripture, then one can see, here's where I am, here's where I need to go. And then comes the instruction of how to get there. There are signposts along the way. For instance, throughout the teachings of the Goswamis, we find that there is a clear set of road signs along the path. For instance, Adau Shara Tata Sadhu Sangata Bhajana Kriya Tato Nyarta Nivritti Sat Tato Nishta Ruchis Tata. It goes on to, this gives an explanation of the long path of devotional service, which begins with a Gyata Sukriti, one coming in contact with devotees, even unknowingly doing devotional service. And when one's accumulated some pious credit, then one has faith and thinks, oh, Hare Krishna is good. Some people think Hare Krishna is bad, but even they're getting credit, because by thinking Hare Krishna, even if they think good or bad, they still think Hare Krishna, and Krishna is non-different from his name. Jayanama Deha Munivrinda Geyahe Janaranjanaya Paramakshara Krite Tomarada Rada Bhimana Gudiritam Nikiloka Patalimbalumpasi. Nikilogratapa means the hard suffering of the material life and all the sins accumulated. Nikilogratapa Patalimbalumpasi. It's all destroyed. If even a person says one time Hare Krishna, even unintentionally, or out of spite, like Hare Krishnas go home, and he said the Hare Krishna word. So then one sees how to follow the path, and the gift begins to unfold in one's life, and finds out that everything I was looking for was already there within my heart. The external vision that I've developed since I was forced from the womb, which is natural because the mind is embedded in the sense objects. And sense objects are embedded in the mind. We have this intricate relationship with the external world because this is how the senses are oriented. However, when one gets this gift of spiritual knowledge, one remembers and is directed to look inwardly and find out that actually there's a great treasure already there within my heart. And Prabhupada goes to great lengths in the Srimad Bhagavatam to describe how even an ordinary man can find this if he takes the time to look within and introspect. So the human life itself is a gift. After many, many births, as described in the Shastra, there are millions of different species of life to accommodate the soul's whimsy of enjoyment in the lower energy of the material world. You see birds flying around, and they do have to stop to eat and build little houses. But mostly they're just messing around. I watch them all the time. The birds are just hanging out in the backyard. It's like, what do you want to do? Well, get something to eat. And where they get it, they just fly. There's some, Krishna's provided a tree, and they can just pick some seeds, and then they go hang out some more. Who do you want to hang out with? Somebody who looks like you. I don't like the other birds. They only like their own kind. They're just like other people. And they're just like people, except they don't have any dharma. And through all these different species of life, sometimes crocodile, the living entity, likes to hang out in the water, just keep his eyes like above the water, and he sits there. He's like, yeah, try that out for 50 years and see how you like it. And then I'd like to be a big giant person. And he goes, hey, you be an elephant for a little while. I like to be tiny. Well, you become a mosquito. I like to bite people. Oh yeah, be another mosquito. And in this way, through 8 million species of life, one gets the opportunity to express one's whimsy and trying to enjoy separately from the Lord. But when one comes to the human form of life, then the Shastra says, Nrideham adyam sulabham sadulabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram. This human body is a boat. It's a sufficient vessel that can take one across the ocean of material life. And so one can come to that spiritual world. One can reach the shore of the spiritual world, across the hard struggle for existence known as the material ocean. And this gift is given, says the Srimad Bhagavatam, after a long time. Labvam sudurlabham idam bahusambhavante. It's given to you as a great gift, the human life. And it comes not very easily. It's not something that you can buy. Sometimes we become morose. We think, I can't buy anything. It's like, you don't have to. You already got a human body. You won the lottery of the species. So you're the richest of all because you have a human body. So the Shastra says, use it now. Use it properly. What is the way to use the human life properly? It's simply to inquire, is this all there is? I ask this question again and again, is this all there is? Is there something more? And the answer is always forthcoming. Otherwise, in the material world, we're simply told to go somewhere else. We're always redirected because there is no satisfactory place in the material world. There's no satisfactory object for our meditation. So we see a billboard that says, find your happy place. Travel! And then we travel. We go to Vietnam and we're in Ha Long Bay. And when we get to Ha Long Bay, we see another sign that says, Scotland awaits in India. And once we get to India, we see another sign at the airport that says, it's better in the Bahamas, so we go to the Bahamas. And once we get there, we see a big sign that says, wonder is now afloat in LA. I have to go to Los Angeles. Once I go to Los Angeles, the people in Arizona call us and say, your story starts here. And this is the plight of the living entity in the material world, traveling from one destination to the next, always being forced on. There's no home. In fact, the word traveler comes from the word travail. Travail is an instrument of torture. That's the origin. It's a kind of whip with 3 little balls on the end, and the person's whipped and the flesh comes off. So that word travail has been gradually evolved into the word travel. And so the traveler is in a torturous situation until the traveler comes home. And then the Bhagavatam says, Once one comes home, then one feels satisfied. When you travel, you get what you get. When you're home, you get what you want. And what we want is the natural condition of our life, which is to serve Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without any obstruction. And as we travel throughout the material world, everyone's telling us that you can find happiness in places where it's not really available. There's a famous song, it was a country western hit, and it said, "Looking for love in all the wrong places." Everyone's searching for love, but they try to love their Coca-Cola. In fact, when Coca-Cola tried to change their recipe about 20 years ago, they said, we're going to make an innovation, and we're going to change Coca-Cola. They were sued by their so-called faithful followers. They said, you can't change Coca-Cola, it's part of my identity. That's my lifelong companion, Coca-Cola. And we hear this phrase, open happiness, and we think, oh, there it is, right in a bottle. Or here's the Ghirardelli chocolate. Moments of timeless pleasure. Timeless pleasure in a Ghirardelli chocolate bar? Well, the application is wrong-headed, but the idea is sound. Where does it come from? Where does this idea of forever come from? This was a drawing on a sidewalk in my neighborhood. I was taking my walk. I found this M plus M, forever. Forever. Forever, I thought. I wonder where they are now. This was on the sidewalk about 8 years ago. Who knows where M and M are now, or if they ever met, actually. One might have just had a crush on the other and just wrote it on the sidewalk. Actually, I went looking for this, and it's gone. I thought it would still be there, but somebody must have scraped it off. But still, everyone's got this impetus of forever, some forever happiness, some timeless moments of pleasure. But is it in a Ghirardelli chocolate? Or is it in a relationship with some puppy love? Somebody finds someone and thinks, oh, I love them so much. And then they find out that, actually, I don't, later on. So if you're wandering in the desert and suddenly find this ancient gold coin, it seems completely out of place. And then you might ask the question, where did it come from? So, where does HEA come from? What is HEA? Happily ever after. It's in all the stories. End of the story. My parents would read me when I was a kid. They'd read me books and stories, and then at the end they said, and then they lived happily ever after. They think, that's garbage. There is no happily. How's that work, Mom and Dad? Don't they have to die like us? So where does the idea come from? Where does this impetus come from of happily ever after? It has its origin somewhere. That's the great gift of understanding. It's something that we look for everywhere, like the musk deer is searching endlessly for the beautiful scent of musk that he smells constantly. But he doesn't realize that it's in his own navel. It's coming from his own being and existence. We tend to set up shop here in the material world thinking that this is my home. In fact, I found recently when I was gardening, I had leaned a shovel against the gardening shed and left it overnight. And in one day, the spider had built a web between the handle of the shovel and the gardening shed. And I looked at him and I said, you're just like me. You're building a home in a place that will not last, even for a day, because I'm sorry, but I need the shovel. And in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, Krishna goes to great lengths to describe to us how the material world is endlessly mutable. He says, bhutva praliyate. It's constantly destroyed and then recreated. He said, you're living on a little house that's between the handle of a shovel and a shed. It's like, get out of here. This is not your home. And this is the great gift, to give people this understanding that there's a higher place, a home. And as one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, who was a great scholar and a poet, he used to say, Om means the big yes. It means everything that you ever imagined was possible, that you have felt in your heart that there's something more to life, that there are questions unanswered, that I know I can answer these questions, and that there is a place that's eternal. Om means yes, inquire. You can find it. It's all there. It's all possible. Everything you ever wanted is possible. Nature is waking up to see that actually I'm conscious. When the living entities are in lower species, they're merged into nature. They simply follow whatever dictates the modes give. But when one comes to the human form of life, then one can actually make this inquiry and say, yes, there's more. There's something else. I'm something higher. I'm something more than matter. Nature is waking up and actually seeing I'm not matter, but I'm actually consciousness. And the possibilities in consciousness are endless, whereas the possibilities in material nature are limited. There are only a certain number of combinations and permutations, and these can be counted. And these come out in a finite number, 8,400,000 species of life. There's only so many flavors that you can have here. There's only certain seasons you can have here. And it's all restricted. We're on lockdown here in the material world. But Om means open up your heart to the great possibilities and enter the spiritual world where the variety is endless, where the happiness is endless, it's ever increasing. This is the big yes called Om. This brings us to the philosophical observation of consciousness versus possessions. Can pose the scenario of being given a palace. Would you all like to have a palace? You wouldn't really, but you're going along with the story, so you said yes. Did you all say yes? Yes. You have a palace. You can have this palace. Only thing is, you can't have any other people there with you. Is that all right? No? You can't. Not only can't you have any people, you can't have any animals. No plants, no pets, no kids, no people. Just a big palace. And in your palace, you can have, what kind of cars do you want to have? Lamborghini. You can have 20 of them. And you can have lots of refrigerators. What would you like to have in them? Ice cream, rasgulla. And you can have as much Karela as you like, fried Karela. Fried Karela and ice cream every day, no problem. But you just can't have any other people or other living entities. In such an environment, one would become morose. But if in this lifeless palace with all material accoutrements, one day a tiny green parrot flew in and alighted on your shoulder, he would become your best friend because he's a conscious living entity. So we're looking for the real nectar in life, which is consciousness. It's not our possessions. In fact, we see that when there is an emergency, the house is burning or there's a flood, and what do people save first? They save their television, they save their technology, or their prized gun collection. Well, maybe. No, they go for the living entities first. Where is, what's the name of that cat? Yeah. You get to name him. Kitty? Bushi? Bushi? Cindy? Okay. Where is my Cindy? I want my Cindy. I don't care if the whole house goes down in the flood, but I want my little Cindy back. Is it S-I-N-D-H-I, Cindy, or C-I-D? Oh, C-I-N-D-Y? Okay. I just wanted to see if it was a Cindy. So I saved my little Cindy. I don't care about the house. I mean, I care, but it's just because I live there. But if you see all the time when these disasters happen, it's like, well, my house went down, but I got my Cindy back. my little cat is saved. So it's okay. We have an intuitive sense that life, that consciousness is more important than my possessions. We see it everywhere, ultimately in our choices. And when we go against that truth, that tattva, that consciousness is more important than possessions, then we live a life in contradiction of our actual nature, and that's why we suffer in the material world. There are many cars in Mountain View right now, and one of them is your car. Am I correct? Yes. And this just happened. And we don't care unless I tell you this is a picture of your car, or you recognize, hey, wait a minute, I have a black car. I have a black two-door sedan just like that. It's like, yeah, that's your car. Nitai Kripa Prabhu just sent this picture in from the parking lot. That's yours. Then it's a problem for you, because there's a difference between my conscious being and those things around me that are mine. The difference between things that are just things and things that are my things. And therefore my consciousness becomes disturbed when I invest myself in things rather than investing myself in consciousness. So the process of yoga is to invest in consciousness and come to find out that the most valuable thing you have is you. What's inside this body, which is a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is our most valuable asset. It's just that I project it out into the world, and I think in terms of, I am my house, I am my country. In fact, people that will then die for their country, which is ridiculous, because it's an arbitrary designation, my country. What is America? It's a recent concoction. Somebody came over here in a boat and then had superior firepower and then exploited the people that were already here and said, we'll set up a government and rule over it, and we'll keep all the stuff. And that became a country, and then the people fly the flag. There's a business along the 101 freeway, and every few years they renew the flag because it gets faded by the sun. And it says, these colors don't run. And he's very proud to be an American. Not knowing that not only does he have nothing to do with America, but America has nothing to do with anything. It's just a mental construct of America. God bless America. What's America? It's just an idea that's floating through eternal time in this material world. And I'm identifying it, I'm an American. So a self-realized person comes to understand that the steady position in life is to see that myself is what's valuable, because myself is a tiny part of the original divine source of everything, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in the Bhagavad Gita, we've learned about lower energies and higher energies. And this is an important science to know, because if I involve myself in lower energy, then I'll be depressed. I will be hindered in my attempt to find happiness. But when I understand that there's a higher energy and that there's a means to contact that higher energy called bhakti, bhakti yoga, then I can transform my life by staying in constant contact with the higher energy and avoiding association with the lower energy. Part of the process of spiritual life and taking advantage of the great gift of knowledge and of the practice of devotional service is to cultivate one's own heart. Because after all, when we look within and we find that our real treasure is within, how do we cultivate it? Just like the plants in a garden. I was noticing the other day when I was out chanting in the garden that the lilac tree I planted about 6 years ago finally flowered. It took its time. I'd go out and see it every year, and I'd say, where's the flowers, man? I put you in here 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and then 6 years, and then the lilac comes out. Beautiful flowers, very fragrant. I noticed them in New Vrindavan. That's why I would collect them for my deities whenever I go there for the Festival of Inspiration. And Then I thought, I'll get a lilac, put it in the yard. And it waited. I traveled many places. I came back. I looked at it, and it's like nothing. But finally, flowers everywhere. And then I looked at all the other flowers, and I thought, everyone takes their own time. And so we have to realize the science that what we cultivate in our life will come to bear fruit. And it's a question of knowing what kind of fruit do I want. And understanding there's a science behind it. It's not arbitrary. And if you simply leave it to chance, if you leave your garden to chance, you'll find out that it becomes a bramble of all kinds of unwanted weeds tangled up. The blackberries will take over my yard. Somehow they're there and they're not going away. And unless I keep them back on a regular basis, they come in and they're sharp as razors. You can't move in the garden if the blackberries take over. And then there's crabgrass. It's very difficult to get rid of, but it can be gotten rid of. I was told that by my gardener. I didn't believe it. He said that we can eradicate this. I said, how? I've never been able to do it myself. He said, you have to be meticulous. He and his wife went after that crabgrass, and they worked for days. They said, you can't even leave one little piece because it'll multiply. And then if you go away and come back, it'll take over your yard again. So the great gift of spiritual life must be cherished. And cherishing it means one must work to preserve it. One has to cultivate the heart very carefully, not let the weeds take over. And remember, whatever you plant there will grow. Whatever seeds you allow in, deliberately or without your own knowledge, they will take root. That's the nature of this world. That's the nature of the heart. And they will produce a fruit. And you may say, I don't like the fruit. Well, too late. You planted it, or you allowed it, and therefore you've got it. So those who receive the gift of spiritual life understand this science, that whatever I plant will come to fruition. And, very importantly, I have a choice. It's not random. Whatever we're getting now, whatever fruits we have now are coming because of what I've allowed into the garden of my heart previously. Therefore, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma says, Tate anukampam susamikshemanu bunjana evatma kritam vipakam. He said, one who wakes up to realize this truth, that whatever I have now in my life, whatever fruits are coming into my life now, whether they're bitter or sweet, are due to my past activities. I did it, nobody else. I'm an independent, conscious living being, part and parcel of God. And it's because of my choices that I have what I have. It's nobody else's fault. From that position, one can then go on to inherit the kingdom of God. So the cultivation of the heart means to understand the power of seeds, the timing of seeds, understanding where to get good seeds. You have to go to a reputable source and find out, does this person sell good seeds? And then you have to trust the seeds and put in the hard labor to plant them and cultivate them and allow them to grow. One of the great gifts of bhakti is that by hearing, one can go back to Godhead. Just by hearing, if you don't do anything else. If you properly hear, if you hear the wholesome sounds of the spiritual world, you'll be directed in your life. You'll learn everything. You'll know what to do and what not to do by hearing. The Quixote salmon who lives up in the streams of Northern California, especially up by Muir Woods, every year they take a great journey from the place where they're born into the ocean. From the fresh water, they journey into the saltwater ocean and they travel for thousands of miles. And then after some time, they find their way back to the original stream that allowed them to enter the vast ocean. And they swim upstream until they come to the original pond where they were born. There they mate, and then they die. And this phenomena has intrigued biologists for many years who have studied the ways in which these salmon find their way back. And the most definitive studies say that they smell their way back. Their sense of smelling is so acute that they can recognize the same stream they came from and the original pond that they were born in. And in a similar way, human beings are endowed with a special gift, and that is the gift of hearing and then understanding. Hearing and then understanding. And what can one understand by hearing? One can understand the clear path back to one's original home and can follow it. So the Vedas are called Shruti, hearing. And throughout the cream of the Vedas, called the Srimad Bhagavatam, we're advised to hear properly, hear well, hear constantly, hear for a long time. And by that process, one will be called back to one's original home, the spiritual world. Shrinvatam swakatak Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantakstohi bhadrani vidunoti suritsitam. Lord Shri Krishna is the Paramatma, the Supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor, the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the hearts of the devotees who relish his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Just by this one process, one can find one's way home. Therefore, it's mentioned all over the Bay Area in these little placards, no dumping drains to Bay. One should be careful not to dump garbage in one's ears. This little placard could be tattooed above each ear. You could put just like that. In fact, I might try that on the way home. Go to a tattoo parlor to put one of those next to each ear. No dumping drains to Bay. What's the Bay? It's the Bay of the heart. In the San Francisco Bay, whatever we dump here in the suburbs ends up in the bottom of the San Francisco Bay as toxic residue. And in a similar way, whatever I listen to that is not meant for my ultimate spiritual benefit, whatever I allow in, whatever I entertain in the form of sound vibration, goes into the ears and ends up in the Bay of the heart. And the heart is the driver. The heart is the driver of the chariot of the body. And sometimes I may ask myself, why am I moving in this direction? Why am I moving in that direction? And the answer is, I'm being driven by my heart. This is called Shraddha. Shrad means the heart, and Da means where I place it. And I deliberately place my heart, or I'm drawn by my heart, by my Shraddha. And the state of my heart is determined by what goes into it. And one can then turn one's life around by deliberately hearing sound vibration from the spiritual world, most particularly from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This leads to a kind of mindset that cannot be attained by going shopping. If you go to the Stanford shopping mall thinking that I will find santosh, which means satisfaction, you're mistaken. Because the Stanford shopping mall is full of material objects, and you might think, if I just have that brand new what? Fill in the blank. Purse, watch. I have a Tag Heuer, and now I have to have a Rolex. Once I have a Rolex, I have to have, I don't know what's better than that. But the mind always wants something else. In fact, as soon as you get it, you get your new purse or your watch, or what else did you say? Hat? Shoes? And then there's something else. You get an iPhone 7, and then 2 days later, there's an iPhone 10. Who even knows if it's better than the iPhone 7? I actually, it's hard to tell. But it's different, and the mind's constantly moving from one thing to the next and thinking, I have to have the next thing. But when one finds the gift of spiritual life through hearing, one feels santosh. And as my godbrother Dhanadhar Maharaj says, this word means enough. I don't need anything else. I'm satisfied right now, whatever I have. This is the mentality of the wealthiest person in this world. Nobody else, no matter how much material assets they have, can feel happy, except for one who feels that I have enough. Whatever I have is enough. And this can be attained only by the gift of spiritual realization, which comes from bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then this portable mantra anyone can take with them anywhere instills in the heart many of the greatest gifts that we're looking for, according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. First of all, it cleanses the heart. It takes out all the trash. If you wondered how to clean the San Francisco Bay and somebody comes up with a technology and say, I can clean it, not only that, I can clean all the oceans. I can take all those little bottle caps out of there. How many bottle caps are in the ocean? The answer is nobody knows. But if you invented a technology to clean up the oceans, this would be the greatest gift to all the sea animals, and there's a lot of them that would be on your side if you invented such a thing to clean up all the oceans. So the heart has unlimited bottle caps, and even it goes back as far as those little pop tops from the original cans of soda and beer they used to have. You pull it off and it actually come off and people just throw it. So from one life to the next, whatever the technology I've been involved with, it's gone into my heart and it's caused a great pollution. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the heart will be cleansed by the process of chanting this mantra. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. And the fire that I'm feeling from the material world, that there's a burning on all sides, and I'm trapped in it, in this forest fire, that will be extinguished by the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Shreya Kairava, and good fortune will come into my life. I'll realize my gift. Vidya Vidu Jivana means that knowledge will be by my side, just like the wife stands by the side of the husband. So similarly, when one chants Hare Krishna, knowledge will always be there with you. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayat Yashuvairagyam Jnanam Chayara Haitukam. It's a natural, it's concomitant that one has knowledge and detachment when one chants Hare Krishna. It comes into one's heart. Anandam Buddhivardhanam, and one will experience ever-expanding happiness. Pratit Pradam Purnam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnam Ritasvaranam Sarvatma Snapanam. You can take a bath for your soul and feel cleansed by the process of chanting Hare Krishna. Okay, now we'll take some reflections or any questions. Anything that you heard that stuck with you? Yes.
When you were mentioning on that slide about there are so many species of life and the human form is a gift, it kind of struck me because we read biology and we read about different species of life. Just yesterday, Avantika was asked to dissect a rat, and she was like, "You." So, but we never looked at it. I never looked at it from the perspective of, oh, these are 84 million species of life and meant for enjoyment. We always somehow don't associate with that.
Yeah, it's like they're different flavors. We used to, when we were very young kids, our parents take us to the ice cream shop, and there were 3 flavors only. You know what they were? Vanilla, strawberry. That's it. It was the biggest news I ever heard from my brother when he came home and said, there's a new ice cream shop. It's got 31 flavors. I said, no way. That's impossible. How could you have 31 flavors? When Baskin Robbins opened, this was a huge revelation to the world that you could have something besides strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. And we'd go down there and examine all the different flavors and look at them all. In the end of the day, it's all ice cream, just various flavors of ice cream. So the material world is like that. It's all the same substance, but it's just repackaged in different ways. 8,400,000 species of life. I can taste things in different ways. In fact, Narottam Das Thakur writes in one of his songs that the different species of life, they come out with different tongues and different ways of tasting things different combinations in the material world. And that's their preoccupation. I'm just trying to taste a little something, get a little taste. And according to the mode of nature that they're affected by, they taste things that are highly abominable. Some things in the mode of passion, and they're a little racy. And then things in the mode of goodness that are sustaining and they taste healthy. But still, it's all within the modes of material nature. And in the same way, the 8,400,000 species of life are combinations and permutations of the 3 modes of material nature. When you mix 3 and 3, and you get 9, 9 and 9, 81, and you go on mixing in these different combinations, permutations, and you get this conglomeration of different bodies through which one tries to taste the material nature in different ways. You fly as a bird in the sky and feel light, and you notice, watch the birds, you watch them, and you'll see that they're trying to enjoy flying. They fly through. When I sit on the roof of the Govardhan fortress, I watch these parrots. They come darting out, like 2 of them together, and they fly in synchronicity. They like that, and they land on the tree, and they're like, "Hey, did you like that?" "I liked it. Let's do it again." They fly again. And in all the different species of it, the earthworm, I watch earthworms all the time. It's like, "How'd you get that body?" And it's like, "I don't know, but I like it down here." And they're like, all they're doing is flopping in and out of the earth, you know. And they're just trying to enjoy. It's like, but it's all the same matter. And Krishna's given the living entity the various ways in which to try to exploit it and try to enjoy it. And that's what the bodies are for, because of the various kinds of desires that living entities have. This is what he points out in the beginning of the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that yang vapi smaran bhavam. Arjuna is inquiring, like, what is causing this transmigration from one different kind of body to the next? And Krishna says it's because of varied consciousness. It's a kind of concoction. It's like, I like chocolate, I like vanilla, and I like strawberry. Let's mix them all together. Hey, wait a minute, what's that on the shelf? Throw in some peanut butter. Like, yeah, you have to try to taste and taste and taste and taste. But that taste is the same kind of taste. Prahlad Maharaj says, punat punas charvita charvananam. It's the same thing over and over again. You already tasted it. It's just a slightly different combination, but the taste is the same. Just as much as if you had the same kind of juice, and then you put it in different cups. One of them is a gold cup. Somebody brings me a gold cup. It's like, wow, gold cup. I drink with a gold cup, and I think, ooh, that juice is really nice. And then somebody bring me just an aluminum cup, and it's like, I don't think I like it as much. It's just a concoction. It's the same taste. So the material nature gets packaged in different ways. It appears to have a different sheen. It does have a different sheen. But inside, it's the same substance again and again and again. And these are the various species of life that are provided for the living entity's enjoyment. But when one receives the gift of spiritual life, one sees that actually the real enjoyment comes from spiritual variety. And that variety can be attained by the process of bhakti. One can taste something special by chanting Hare Krishna and by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and attending to Tulsi Devi and these various other very esoteric processes that are available to those who have the fortune of receiving the gift from a devotee who says, no, this is the process to attain happiness. What are the things? Yes, 1, 2.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. The whole class is very thought-provoking and really full of, I can still recount so many points you told, and everything is so, really makes you to appreciate the gift of spiritual life that we have been given. Especially I was liking the point that you were making about Shruti, like how by hearing only we can understand what is the human life is meant for. Like most of the time, like modern scientists or the people, they want to see, you want to show me, then I will believe, but not everything can be seen. Like the example you gave of the shamans, the fees that they take their way through hearing, through smelling. Similarly, we human being, our process is through hearing. By hearing the right bona fide sound, we can know our process out of this material world. Otherwise, it's just... and also, I like the point of cultivate your heart. How much is important to consciously take time in our spiritual life to cultivate our own heart, and also seeing the point that you made, that the most important thing is our own self, and that the example you gave, that how we are in that, suppose you are just put in that big palace with alone yourself, there's nothing there. It's really so...
Yeah, I need a green parrot. After green parrot.
So it was so scary to just think that, yes, and so then also we plan in our life to have interaction with other friends, other people, other colleagues, that to have that kind of relationship that cultivate, like it takes time. It's just thoughtful in all our interactions. Like maybe like our some neighbor is there, just drop a cheat that, oh, happy spring. Maybe he's American, he might not be appreciate Krishna conscious directly, but if you just drop his sleep that happy spring, it might be cultivating slowly, and
happy spring. What's that?
Spring. Now it's a spring season, so
spring
season. Something like that, cultivating that goes a long way. I can see that. Thank you.
Yeah. Madhava Govinda.
I had a question, bro.
Oh yeah.
When you're talking about cultivating the heart, and you were saying that how for many millions of lifetimes we have had so many choices and so many weeds that are there apparently. It's there. And now when we are trying to cultivate the Bhakti Lata Bij, it's many times in the process of cultivating that the other weeds are also fructify, or they are more apparent than the current Bhakti Lata Bij. How do we actually make sure that we are always doing the right choice of...
Got to go to the nursery. I go to my local nursery. It's called Golden Nursery. It's just down the street from my house. And these people hang out with plants all day long. That's all they do. So I have questions. I go down there and say, what about this? What about that? How do I get rid of this? And how do I get more of that? And they always have the solution for me, because that's what they do. So similarly, as we're going through the process of devotional service, we'll find all kinds of different plants coming up in the garden of our heart. And you have to have an expert gardener to help you out. Somebody actually knows what the plants look like and say, that's a weed, and you better watch out, because that's a really aggressive weed. Some weeds are worse than others. There's weeds that, I mean, who thinks these things up? It's amazing. Some of these weeds, they're like what are they called? Those devices that are innovated explosive devices that were going off in Iraq all the time? Huh? IED. Innovative, what? Explosive device. IED. It's called an IED, so they invent all these different kind of explosive devices. So it trips it up when you're driving over it and stuff. So the weeds are like that too, some of them. They're just coming in now. I'm trying to get rid of them, because by the time the seeds start coming out and this first warm day, if you get anywhere near them, they explode. Have you seen it? They go pop, and their seeds go flying for 10 yards. They shoot into the yard, and then there's more of them. And so my gardener said, as soon as you see these, you have to take them out. Before they're even able to develop seeds, you have to get rid of them. Otherwise, they'll be compounded interest every single year, and it'll be impossible to get rid of them. So start early, and you'll say, here's when you start. You start right at the end of winter, before the spring comes in. That's when as soon as they start popping up the ground, you have to take them out. So because I had a gardener who knew, he's been there, he's seen it, then tells me that's what this is, and that's when you take it out. I was able to do that, and now I have very few of them, and I'm very vigilant about removing them. So the same way as we're cultivating this garden of Krishna consciousness, we have to have an expert gardener along with us, or a team of gardeners. At least you got to go to the nursery and ask somebody and get that information. You have online, you can look it up. You have a person who can come and take a look at it. Personally, that helps. So you can look stuff up online, but you don't always get the right advice. It may not be exactly the way you needed it, but somebody can come there personally. So we have Guru, Sadhu, Shastra to guide us in different ways. We have to triangulate, get all different helping agents for us to make sure that our garden comes up to the right level. And our practice is a result of that. You'll notice that when you get around people whose bhajan is a high level, they already have the energy and the momentum in their life. And if you can get their association, do some service for them, and observe them, then you'll start to take on those qualities. I've seen it in others. In some of my teachers, like, music teachers, I look at them and say, oh, they're a product of such and such and so and so. I see how they have the same kind of qualities. They picked up the same way of playing music. And so we become a product of who we associate with, knowingly or unknowingly. And so we should be very deliberate in the process of bhakti, of getting good association. And by that, we'll start to develop a good-looking garden. Some gardens look better than others. And that's not by chance. There's some knowledge behind it. There's somebody with some expertise or some help. And who cares? You got to care. If you don't care, you can tell in the neighborhood who just doesn't care anymore. You look, it's like, yeah, I could see by their garden. They just don't care anymore. For one reason or another, they're too busy, or they just gave up, or they're so intoxicated they can't make it out the door. One reason or another, they don't care. So we can tell by looking at a devotee's life and the quality of their sadhana, like how they've cultivated, who they've associated with, who did you hang out with, what did you do deliberately to get in this condition you're in now. You have the power to do it because you're a living entity, just as you have the power to refuse any good advice that's given to you. And living entities do it all the time. Say, here's some good advice. Don't take another step backwards or you're going to fall off the roof. And you go, just leave me alone. Okay, bye, crash. Oh, that man must have been an astrologer. So this is something that we have to study the science of, and this is very elaborately explained by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in the purport to the Gaudiya temple, in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was known to have cleaned the temple 3 times, and then outside, so nothing else comes in. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta catalogs the various kinds of anarthas that accumulate within the heart. Some material motivations, and they're very subtle in their combinations and permutations of those. And some of them are really crazy. It's like, how did that get in here? Somehow or other. I don't know how certain weeds get in my garden. I don't know where they come from. Other planets? Some kind of bugs that get in there too. One year I had planted tomatoes and some bugs came out. I said, how did you get here? I was asking him. You look like you flew in off a spaceship or something like that. How did you know there were tomatoes here? Never seen you before. So anarthas show up like that also. That's the nature of the material world. These anarthas show up and you go like, this is crazy. Where did that come from? It's like, from another planet. You've probably been on other planets and picked it up before you got here. And that's why they're so careful at borders also. They want to check you before you come in and contaminate everybody else. What do you got in your bag? What do you have any bugs in you? In fact, you have to walk through that little meter that tells whether you have a fever or not. Have you seen that? You go across the border and you walk through this little channel and then it measures your temperature. If you have a fever, they'll pull you over and say, you can't come in. So we have to be vigilant and cultivating what's already there and taking out the weeds meticulously.
So after that astrologer story, you showed that map, and then you said that the scriptures are like, for us, they are the treasure map. So that's very relevant. They like tell us where we are right now and tell us how to go to our goal. So yeah. I like that.
And I was also remembering last night watching people walk around with these treasure maps. It's satisfying to see that people are wandering. I mean, after all, what else would you be doing on University Avenue at 8 o'clock at night, except some mischief? I mean, there's nothing to do there except to go eat some boga look at some stuff, drink some stuff that you shouldn't drink. I mean, what? What little jiva are you doing there? What are you doing here? And they get a little treasure map and look inside and go, oh yeah, wrong place. I took a wrong turn somehow. And then they can find their way. And we meet people all the time that are wandering, they're lost, they open up the Gita, and then they go, oh, okay, I see where I am, I'm right here. And here's where I have to go. It's like, okay, problem solved. It's not that difficult. And that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, compared to this poor man, he's completely bereft. And then he meets the astrologer and says, here it is. And then Mahaprabhu says, how long does it take him to get oriented again? In 1 second. He said, oh yeah, I forgot. That's all, I just forgot. I'm actually wealthy. And I know where to go to get it now. So even if you don't have it in your hand yet, if you know that it's there and you know exactly how to get it, you still feel rich. I mean, if you're an heir or an heiress, and you don't have a dime to your name right now, but you know you're going to get $1 billion very soon. And people, they'll consider you wealthy. They'll say, oh yeah, she's an heiress, she's wealthy. So devotees are like that too, because they know their way. They know where it is because of the Bhagavad Gita. So they know, I know who I am. I'm not going to die. Everyone else is thinking, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, and anytime, is that going to kill me? Is this going to... And the devotees know, I won't die. So they're wealthy all the time, even if they're not in the spiritual world yet. They may look like they're overcome by all the other troubles that everybody else is. And to some degree they are, except for they have this very clear knowledge. And they have the map right in front of them. Says, okay, it's difficult right now, but I'm going back to the spiritual world. Therefore, tate anukampam susamikshamana. They know. They're always hopeful because they see I have the map in front of me. And although this ocean looks like it never ends, I know I'm going to reach the shore. That's what Akrura said. He said that I have hope. That even though this ocean seems to have no end, because I'm in contact with Krishna, because I'm praying to Krishna, now I have this confidence in my heart that I'm going to reach the end of this ocean. It'll come. Yes, 1, 2.
Maharaj, I have 2 questions. But first one was with the consciousness that you were
First one's free.
Free.
Okay.
The consciousness, you were saying how if you even have a palace, if you didn't have any conscious entity with you, it is not that enjoyable. But the moment you said that, I was immediately thinking, but then the more I have around me, the more trouble I have. Everybody has an opinion, an advice, everybody has needs, and I have to take care of so many conscious beings, and they have to take care of me.
That's rasa.
That's rasa.
It's rasa. I mean, what would our lives be if we didn't have trouble? In the spiritual world, Mother Yashoda has trouble all the time. So where's Krishna? I mean, look at the pastimes of Nimai in Navadvip. He drives his parents crazy. But it's sweet crazy. Just like chutney. It's sweet hot. It's like, this is too hot to eat, but I can't stop. Because it's so sweet. This is the chutney of the spiritual world. And you know what? We don't want nothing. That won't satisfy the tongue. It's just like, okay, the material world, the tastes are this and that, so I'll just stop eating. It's like, that doesn't work. You have to have something that actually satisfies.
So we should actually enjoy this whole thing we're going
Well, I mean, the material rasa probably distinguishes between the two, both in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita and in the nectar of devotion, that there's the material rasa, and then there's the bhakti rasa. So I'm not saying that material rasa is bhakti rasa. I'm just saying that rasa is rasa. It is necessary for the living entity, and that if you want to get rid of rasa altogether, that won't be possible. Yene ravannaksha vamuktamaninas toyasta bhavad avashuddha buddhaya aruya krishna paramparam tada patantya tonadrita yushmarangraya. Bhagavatam philosophy is that you try for some kind of liberation in the material world. If it doesn't include rasa, if you don't get that bhakti rasa, then you won't be able to stay there. You'll come back eventually. You have to have rasa. So what we're experiencing in the material world is very close to what is in there in the spiritual world. Like human life and all our trials, tribulations, the emotions that come out when you're separated from a dear one, this is very similar to bhakti. The jnanis and yogis and all this artificial stuff, this is very different from bhakti rasa. But material life, human material life, is very similar to bhakti rasa. You just have to purify it, and you have to understand what its source is, and then transfer this rasa into bhakti rasa.
Maharaj, what is this need that we have not to listen to anybody else?
The need to?
The need not to listen to anyone's good advice. We always have people who are always giving us advice.
It's just a part of being an independent living entity, part of Krishna. Krishna's, we're a little stamp, a little sample. A little sample wample. So there's the big gold mine, and then you get a tiny little flake of gold, right? It's got the same quality. So Krishna is the supreme Ishvara. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sakchirananda Vigraha. It's like he's the supreme controller. Do anything he wants. We're a little part of Krishna. So we have that same quality there. That like, I can do anything I want. Like, good luck, little jiva. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jiv Krishna Das Evishwas, Korleto or Dukonai. Understand that you're part of Krishna. You're a servant of Krishna. You're not the whole, you're the part. And if the part serves the whole, then there's complete happiness, eradication of this distress.
So my understanding of taking advice is that if that advice in any way helps you improve your Krishna consciousness, then you recognize it as good advice, even if you don't feel like you can follow it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, be able to recognize good advice. You may take it into your heart. You may not be able to execute it right now, but if you don't reject it out of hand, if you somehow incubate it, there will be a time when you'll be able to execute it. So you have to be strategic in your life and not think that because I can't do something now means I can't do something later. And some people have this philosophy because somebody was a neophyte devotee at one point. They're always a neophyte. Some people say only Prabhupada was a Paramahamsa, but he brought all these teachings and nobody else, none of his followers will ever become Paramahamsas. What kind of philosophy is that? Everyone, I mean, why would you even follow it then, if that was the case? If you couldn't actually become a pure devotee by following, the process means that you're going to get from one place to the next and you're going to come to that position. So you have to always understand that we're in a particular place right now, but it's the goal is guaranteed if we stick to it and we're strategic in our life and have faith and patience, and you'll see in time you'll be fine. What else? From the internet, and then we'll go to Bal Mukunda.
So Cindy Cooper Mataji, she is Hare Krishna.
Cindy Cooper.
Yeah.
Haribo. Where is she writing from?
That I don't know.
Welcome, Cindy Cooper.
Cindy, if you can
Everyone say Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So she says she liked your garden analogy that you gave. And then we also have, we had Preeti Radhika, but her...
What's
so
that?
Preeti Radhika was there, her comment disappeared. On Facebook, they keep on moving. So what she was mentioning was that she really liked how the Jiva soul is looking for, HEA, and
Yes.
pleasure and happiness, and then the connection that it is actually coming from our eternal nature.
HEA, it sounds like a drug. Did you get any HEA? Like little HEA pills. Happily ever after. That's what everyone actually wants, a little HEA pill. People take all kinds of drugs, like Oxycontin. It's become a scourge of America. There's whole towns that are wiped out. When I did the last leg of the journey with Bhakti Marg Swami, we walked across America. So we joined him for the last leg, and we walked all the way through, San Francisco. I mean, all the way through. He walked across the country. We just walked through this, from one end of San Francisco to the other, and went to the ocean. And he was telling us what it looked like. When you walk somewhere, you actually get to see what people are doing and things like that. When you drive through, you miss it. What's the speak if you fly over? It's like, meh. There's people down there, So he's walking through, and some towns, he said, were not just decimated. Decimated means 1 out of 10 is ruined. But he said they're obliterated by this drug scourge, the opiate epidemic. He said whole towns are ruined because all the young people in the town, they become addicted to opiate. What are they looking for? they want a little drug called HEA. And if somebody can market that and say happily ever after, you don't get it with these opiates, apparently. We're finding out now. You take the opiate, then you become addicted, and it doesn't have the same effects. They have to take more, and then the acetaminophen in it accumulates in the liver, and then it kills you one day because you took too much. This is not a good idea. This is not a good pill or a solution. They should tell people about this, about the opiate epidemic, why it's no good. But what they do want is HEA, a little HEA prescription. Now, let me give you a little prescription of HEA here. Here's what you want. You get this HEA. You take this. Let me sign that for you. You take your HEA. Here you go. But it's got to make sense. I mean, Lord Chaitanya's philosophy makes sense. That's why so many intelligent people joined the Krishna conscious movement in the early days. I mean, you got people with astounding intellects who came. Rabindra Swarupa, Hridayananda Maharaj, people like that. It's like, have you ever met anybody smart? I mean, if you sit with them for a while and you go like, I don't think there's anybody smarter on the earth. These devotees, there were whole droves of them came because they read the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and said, this makes sense. This is actually how to find happiness. It's not that this is blind faith. It's actually, it makes sense. It's like we want happiness ever after, but you can't get it in OxyContin. You can get it in Lord Chaitanya's teaching. It makes sense that we're non-material, that there are means through which the Supreme can reveal himself to the infinitesimal living entities if he chooses to, and that there's a channel through which he makes himself available, and if you just follow it, then you'll get it. That makes sense, doesn't it? Say yes. Yes. Yeah, so then one could follow that and get the actual HEA prescription. You got to put in for your HEA prescription, otherwise, get in line. You can get that.
Yeah. She was also
Who's
mentioning
she?
Preeti Radhika.
Oh, Preeti Radhika. Okay.
Yeah. So, what about hearing? What a simple process that just by hearing attentively we can sail through. And I just wanted to add to that you had also mentioned that one of the gifts that we have is hearing, and then to be able to understand it. What you hear. Because I was talking to my daughter one day, and I was very surprised at the way dogs learn. And she told me that her dog was chewing her slipper in the bedroom. So she said, no, Lily. And then she said, she will understand that given the time, place, and circumstances, to chew slippers in the bedroom is a wrong thing. But she can do that in the living room. So they have to be trained again. Not to chew slippers, but we get it the first time. Like, don't chew slippers, and we get it. So that power of understanding.
Shanai Paramed. Gradually, one can train the mind from enemy to friend. It takes long endeavor to do that. Shanai Paramed. This is from the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's talking about training the mind. He said, to wherever it wanders due to its unsteady nature, you have to keep bringing it back under the control of self. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Bal Mukunda? Yeah. Oh, yes, one more?
Oh, there's a Hari Bol from Amrit Vilasini Devi Dasi from Taipei, Taiwan.
Jai, Hare Krishna. Sheshia.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Ni hao.
I like the point, like you connected, travel have origin in torture, like how we travel to different places, but very comfort when we come back home. Similarly, travel in different bodies, and when we go back to Godhead, we feel
it's a real torture to have to leave your body. I've seen it before. I watched my mother leave her body, and she said to me before she left, she said, I never want to have to do this again. It's like, that was a pretty profound statement from a living entity. And then I saw, as soon as she left, everything she had collected, which was a lot of art and a lot of books and, all that stuff, tons of it. And she just left it behind, can't keep it. Had to go somewhere else and start all over again. That kind of hurts. I mean, we don't like being moved around so much like that. So finding home, this is the goal of the treasure map. You have to find where your home is. No travel, no travail, no having to give up everything. because we have something, and that's our eternal relationship with Krishna. It doesn't have to be lost. We can re-establish that, and then we're home. And then we're happy forever. HEA. That's the real HEA. Who is next? Yes. Keshri?
I was just remembering Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was here last week and he was talking, we had a lot of discussion about mind. And one thing, I mean, lots of points to remember, but one important thing that struck what Manjula was mentioning is so many things keep coming up in the mind, but we have to be vigilant and select what we want. So it's like the flow chart. You know, you say yes, yes, yes for all the things that take you to Krishna, no, no, no. And it gets programmed that way. So then you reach the target right on thing. And the other part that he said is, you know, when we are driving and we get lost somewhere, and we need to understand that we are lost and get back to, you know, the right GPS or right person, and so that you can get back to track on the right road. Similarly, our heart is lost, looking for pleasure everywhere else. We need to understand that our heart is lost and then get our goal fixed on Krishna and get the heart back to Krishna. So it's just thinking. Yeah,
excellent points. And we also have to have a plan. This changes our outlook on life if we have a plan. Even from day to day, you'll notice that if you start the day with a plan, it takes a little endeavor because the mind wants to like, whatever happens, it's good. I'll just do whatever I did yesterday. But if you make a specific plan each day, you'll feel energized. And if we have a lifetime plan about coming to Krishna consciousness, attaining perfection in life, and so forth, then we'll feel energized as well. And this is part of that treasure map that Lord Chaitanya gave. Here it is, and integrate this plan into your life, daily, yearly, as a lifetime plan, and also from minute to minute, you have to have a plan how to stay connected with Krishna. And if you have the plan, then you can keep coming back and getting on track again.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I like the point that you were mentioning, that satisfaction means the feeling that I have enough.
Enough, yes.
Yeah,
this is from my godbrother, Danadar Maharaj, who normally points out when he has a good point, he said, this is copyrighted, and if you don't attribute it, then I'll have my lawyer come after you.
Yeah, and I had the chance of meeting him in person when I was in Denver, because he goes there, I think, for his therapy many times.
Who?
Danadar Maharaj.
Danadar Maharaj?
Oh, Danadar. Oh, sorry. So you're talking about Danadar Maharaj?
Oh, you say Danavir Maharaj. Yeah, different. Yes, in any case, this is a really good point about this enough. If one can see this, for instance, if you were able to have a really powerful chanting session, you might then glimpse this feeling that Santosh, I have enough. I don't need anything else because I'm full of gratitude for what I have right now, what I am right now. It's not that you have to become something because you already are something. What's to become? You already exist eternally. That's heavy. And if you can stay in that heaviness through your practice, then you can actually experience that I have enough. I'm okay, eternally. Not just now, which is difficult to attain in the material world because the mind's always moving on. But what about tomorrow? What about this? But what about that? But there is no what about for the soul because he's eternal. He's indestructible. Yes, what else?
I like this example of what you said earlier, that in spiritual world it's all work, all play and no work, and all the pleasure trips in the airplanes and not like travel, and how you connected it to this travel, how the origin of travel, it pain here, but it's such a pleasure in the spiritual world.
Yeah, and we might ask ourselves, why is that universally pleasing? That section of the Bhagavatam describes Vaikuntha. It says, there's no work, all play, and it's the airplanes are only for pleasure trips. Why, when we bring that up in any assembly, do people go, oh, that sounds nice? It's the stuff of Disney and Pixel. They'll make a movie. It's like, oh, there's a world somewhere, and it's all play and no work. And they go, oh, if only. And it's like, if I could just get one day off, I'd be happy. But this conception of like, no, you have eternity off. Take eternity off. How do you feel now? It's like, a little better. a little better than like, hey, you don't get any days off. Maybe a few sick days, you know, like, it's like, that's all I get? That's torture. It's like, and who said? Who said I have to work that hard? Who gave you the right to make it? I gave it because of the way I've conducted myself in the material world. I put myself in that position, so I can untake myself from that position too by surrendering to Krishna and saying, I don't like my contract anymore. I'm going to void this contract, and there's only one person who can void it for you, and that's Krishna. He's like, Krishna, they gave me a really bad contract. You look at this. I don't have any days off. Just except for sick days, and then I kind of have to fake it. I mean, it's just terrible. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityaja, ma mekam shara. He says, give me the contract, you stay with me, rip, thanks Krishna. Just surrender to Krishna, and I'll deliver you from all sinful reactions. Don't worry. He says at the end, Masucha, just don't worry about it. And you meet somebody like that, it's like, I can get used to this. You can also get used to the material world, being forced to work every single day for eternity. And the senses never give up. They never give any time off, and they never give any mercy. So, not a good plan. There's a much better plan. Lord Chaitanya has brought the plan. What else? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. You just mentioned that Krishna will tear off the bad contract that we are having, but it seems that we have to go a little slowly. We cannot Krishna won't say tomorrow you come and I'll tear it off. Like, it will take some time. You stay here, and then finally we'll get rid of that bad contract.
Yeah, it's more in most cases it's more like restructuring your contract. Like professional athletes, they get to the end of the season and they go, I don't like this and I don't like that. You restructure it. So it's like you're still working, but the incentives are all different. Everything gets reconsidered in the contract. And so Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that still you have to work, because you can't even maintain your physical body without work. And he says besides that, even if you're liberated, kings like Janak, for example, they showed by their example how you work in the world. He went on doing the fruit of sacrifices for the benefit of the citizens and the country and everything like that as an example to others, that you have to do your duty. In fact, tavat karmana kuravita na nirvidyeta yavata matkata shravanadava shadayava najayate. Krishna says, is it Krishna? Who says this verse? Tavat karmana kuravita na nirvidyeta. Krishna to Uddhava. And here he says, tavat, until that time, tavat karmana kuravita na nirvidyeta yavata. Until that time that you've awakened fully your taste for hearing and chanting. Until that time, you have to go on following the regulations of the Shastra very carefully. Tavat karamana kuravita na nirvidyeta. You can't just give them up whimsically. Matkata shravanadova shadajat najayate, until that's awakened. So the devotees perform their activities, because you can't artificially walk away from it. Krishna told Arjuna, Tasmat, what is it? Tasmat sarvishu kaleshu mana yusvara yujacha mayarpita mano bhutir mami vaishyasya samshayaha. He said, you continue doing your job here within the varnashram. You have a duty to do. You're a policeman. You got to police stuff. You can't just give up now, right in the middle of right when the fight's about to start. So do your work. That's fine. But at the same time, think of me. So this is restructuring the contract. But in another sense, the contract is voided. But when you go to Krishna, yes, you'll have to work in the world, but it's different. It's a different process. This Jiva Goswami writes in the Nectar of Devotion that, what is the verse? Liberated while the same body. Jivan mukta su uchite. Iha yasya harirase karmana manasa gira Nikila apyavastastu jivan muktasu uchate. There's a way in which that you surrender to Krishna, you're still using your bodily limbs, you're still moving about the world and doing certain things, but you're liberated even in that condition. And there's a lot of advice given by Narada Muni to Yudhishthira in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam about how to act according to your nature. There's varnas and ashrams, and you have to accommodate your psychophysiological nature, because just because you're on the path of liberation and you surrender to Krishna doesn't mean the force of your psychophysiological nature won't naturally be there at all times. So you have to accommodate that so that you can steadily go on practicing devotional service. And he tells, as an example, he gives us advice about grihastas. In a grihastha ashram, you have to interact with so many different kinds of people, right? So Narada Muni says, so they say this and they say that, and then you say, okay, yes, very good, thanks, thank you very much. But internally you're thinking like, I'm going back to Krishna, whatever this other nonsense is. But externally you agree. It's like, fine, that sounds good, very good, sir, thank you very much. Yes, yeah, you sit here, I'll sit there, you have that, I'll have this, very good, sign contract, okay, fine. But inside, the entire trajectory is like, I'm going back to Godhead, all this is externally. Naiva kinchit koromiti yukto manyeta tatvavit pashan shrinvan srisanjigran ashnan gachan swapanshvasan pralapan vishrinan grinnan unmishan nimishan api indriyan indriyarteshu vartanta iti dharayan. Krishna is describing a liberated person. He's looking at the whole show and he's going, I got nothing to do with this. Naiva kinchit, not even a little bit. Naiva kinchit koromiti. It's all working, but I don't have anything to do with it. It's not my life. It's some other thing. It's been put into motion, but it's like, okay, I'm somewhere else. I'm following Lord Chaitanya's plan, and I'm fully confident that it will come to fruition, even as the material energy plays itself out in my life. And that's the meaning. Te anukampam susamikshamana. Bunjani vatmakritam vipakam. He sees reactions coming, he's happy. Because in a sense, he's thinking it's just burning itself out. This is the last vestige of this whole thing. I got nothing more to do with it. It's over. And once you know it's over, it doesn't matter what else happens in the interim. You already know. You're an heiress. You're going to inherit. You're getting the $1 billion. Who cares what happens now? Somebody hit my car. No, I don't care. Your house burned down. So what? I got $1 billion coming in the mail. What do I care? I could buy 20 houses right now. It doesn't even matter to me. So devotees are engaged with the material world, but frankly, they really don't care anymore about it because it's superfluous. It's not part of them. They've realized that they're a different entity altogether. Asango Hyayam Purusha, got nothing to do with it. What else? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We're going to try that transition. That transition from this tune to the next. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. What is it? We're trying to transition into another tune. In any case, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Go Premanande Tai Gaurari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo Tai Gaurari Bo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Go Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is chapter 5 from the Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. And you'll notice that the previous chapter was entitled Hiranyakashipu Terrorizes the Universe. So, first lesson is don't expect that the universe or your world won't be terrorized, because that's what happens here in the material world. This is one of the lessons of the 7th canto. You might live in a big house, and you might live in a gated community, like the demigods do. But they were terrorized by Hiranyakashipu. You can't run and hide anywhere here in the material world. Some other living entity will be empowered to harass you one way or the other. And expect it. Just know that that's the nature of the material world, and manage your expectations to understand that. Another lesson from this is to see that Prahlad Maharaj, despite the terrorism and the harassment, goes on with his saintly ruminations in life and his teachings and his behavior. He goes on with it, despite the fact that he's harassed, that his father is physically abusive to him and so forth. He continues his track of devotional service. And it's based on something which is not only commonsensical, but also very practical in life. And these are the teachings he gives, even as he's being abused at home, but then he goes to school and he teaches his friends. So we might want to hear what that is. What kind of teachings allow one to remain steady in one's practice of devotional service and one's outlook on life, despite the fact that one's being abused in the most intimate place in one's life, in one's own home. So this is the plight of Prahlad Maharaj. So we come to the first verse. The great saint Narada Muni said, the demons headed by Hiranyakashipu accepted Shukracharya as their priest for ritualistic ceremonies. Shukracharya's two sons, Shunda and Amarka, lived near Hiranyakashipu's palace. Prahlad Maharaj was already educated in devotional life, but when his father sent to those two sons of Shukracharya to be educated, they accepted him as at their school along with the other sons of the Asuras. This also sounds familiar. Prahlad certainly heard and recited the topics of politics and economics taught by the teachers, but he understood that political philosophy involves considering someone a friend and someone an enemy, and thus he did not like it. After this last election, it was so polarized, and I was, it's like a shockwave hits the world when these things happen, unless you're very fortified and detached. But I was in India in Kartik, and devotees saw the election came to a close, and then, there's this polarization effect, especially nowadays in Kali Yuga, it becomes more and more pronounced. So I was thinking about it, how to be non-polarized, and I was thinking, well, some people are happy, at least almost, half the electorate seems to be satisfied in one way or another. And it's just one person has a perspective that this is good, and another person thinks it's bad. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bhadra Abhadra. This is Manudharma. This is the dharma of the mind. Think this is good, this is bad. But Prahlad Maharaj is just, it's, this politics, taking side and putting investing yourself on one side or the other. Ultimately, it's superfluous to our real mission in life, which is to serve Krishna. So one remains aloof by seeing that I actually have no vested interest in either side. They're just both sides, whatever it is, political, it's a conservative, liberal, you can label all different kinds of ways. Or if you get involved two sports teams, that's a little less inflammatory, or maybe more. There's this team, that team, half the people are morose. When they lose, the other people are happy. Why? It's just an arbitrary game they made up. Somebody made up cricket, one day. They were just sitting there and they made stuff up and they said, let's get to no, the line's over here. No, it's over here. All right. They put it all together, and then after that, everyone gets all upset because the ball went this far over the line. It's like, it could have been over here, but you just made it up. The whole material world's like that. It's a manudharma. It's all concocted. So Prahlad Maharaj says, what do I have to do with all this politics? It's really not anything to do with me. Sundar Prabhu? Oh, give him the mic. This is profound. I can see from his... Except for when Pakistan plays India. That's it. That's real. That's the tattva.
Prabhu,
that wasn't your question, though, right? Okay, go ahead.
So my question was, of course it's superfluous when it's a sports, and when there are two teams playing or two sides playing each other. But what if one side is rooting for dharma and other side is not? Then how do we still get attached or
Bhishma Dev was on the wrong side, and he's a Mahajan. How do you account for that? It goes to show, Krishna wanted to show, first of all, that you can't win on the wrong side, even if you're a Mahajan. And he also did it to show that the topsy-turviness of the material world. It's just the way things go here. I mean, how did it end up that Drona was fighting against his own students? That's to show that's what happens here in the material world. Get used to it. That's the way things go. And so this is framed for us in the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita. It's framed for us and say, this is your life on material energy. This is what happens to you here. So get used to it and learn to rise above it. And you have to deal with all kinds of things. Even in the Krishna consciousness movement, we have to push forward the movement. While we're doing it, we have to manage all kinds of anomalies. You know, friends might take the opposite side on a particular heated issue that becomes so polarized that, you know, people want to dedicate their whole life to it. And how do you deal with that? Methodically, but dispassionately. You deal with all the problems in the material world that way. Or in whatever service you have to do, methodically, but dispassionately. Dispassionate because we're doing it for Krishna. And He's responsible for the outcome, not us. Therefore, we do our duty. And how do we do it? Methodically. It means you do everything that you possibly can to make sure that you do your duty properly, even if you see this may come to no end because I don't have the wherewithal or the facility to get it done right now. What can you do? Prabhupada didn't have any facility, but he said, I'm going to be methodical. Whatever I can scrape together, I'm going to scrape together because I've been given a mission, so I'm going to try it. Who would have thought that by, you know, pulling together a ticket to go across the ocean where everyone else said he would die in the process, you know, almost did, that he would be so successful. So we have to follow the example of those who are in the fray. And what did they do? Like Bhishma. My dear King Yudhishthira, once upon a time, everyone now becomes interested, the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, took his son Prahlad on his lap and very affectionately inquired, my dear son, please let me know what you think is the best of all subjects you have studied from your teachers. Prahlad Maharaj replied, O best of the Asuras, the king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest. My dear, more clearly, one should go to Vrindavan, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and one should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narada Muni continued, when Prahlad Maharaj spoke about the path of self-realization in devotional service, thus being faithful to the camp of his father's enemies, Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, heard Prahlad's words and he laughingly said, thus is the intelligence of children spoiled by the words of the enemy. Hiranyakashipu advised his assistants, my dear demons, give complete protection to this boy at the Gurukula where he is instructed, so that his intelligence will not be further influenced by Vaishnavas who might go there in disguise. When Hiranyakashipu's servants brought the boy Prahlad back to the Gurukula, the priest of the demons, Shanda and Amarka, pacified him. With very mild voices and affectionate words, they inquired from him as follows. Dear son Prahlad, all peace and good fortune unto you. Kindly do not speak lies, just reply with the truth. These boys you see are not like you, for they do not speak in a deviant way. How have you learned these instructions? How has your intelligence been thus spoiled in this way? O best of your family, has this pollution of your intelligence been brought about by you or by the enemies? We are your teachers, and we are very eager to hear about this. Please tell us the truth. Prahlad Maharaj replied, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose external energy has created the distinctions of my friend and my enemy by diluting the intelligence of men. Indeed, I am now actually experiencing this, although I have previously heard of it from authoritative sources. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with the living entity because of his devotional service, one becomes a pundit and does not make distinctions between enemies, friends, and himself. Intelligently, he then thinks, every one of us is an eternal servant of God, and therefore we are not different from one another. Persons who always think in terms of enemy and friend are unable to ascertain the supersoul within themselves. Not to speak of them, even such exalted persons as Lord Brahma, who are fully conversant with the Vedic literature, are sometimes bewildered in following the principles of devotional service. The same Supreme Personality of Godhead who has created this situation has certainly given me the intelligence to take the side of your so-called enemy. O Brahmanas, teachers, as iron attracted by a magnetic stone moves automatically toward the magnet, my consciousness, having been changed by his will, is attracted by Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc in his hand. Thus, I have no independence. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, this is the second paragraph. Just contrary to the affairs of Vrindavan and the material world, where no one is attracted by Krishna and everyone is attracted by Maya. This is the difference between the spiritual and material worlds. Hiranyakashipu, who was in the material world, was attracted by women and money, whereas Prahlad Maharaj, being in his natural position, was attracted by Krishna. In replying to Hiranyakashipu's question about why Prahlad Maharaj had a deviant view, Prahlad said that his view was not deviant, for the natural position of everyone is to be attracted by Krishna. Now please note the last two sentences. Hiranyakashipu found this view deviant, Prahlad said, because of being unnaturally unattracted by Krishna. Hiranyakashipu therefore needed purification. And later, in the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, the bhakti process purifies the living entity of all unnatural attractions. Note that, unnatural attractions. We become purified of that. It's a great relief. To be attracted to things which are unnatural does no good for us at all. 15. The great saint Narada Muni continued. The great soul Prahlad Maharaj became silent after saying this to his teachers, Shanda and Amarka, the seminal sons of Shukracharya. These so-called Brahmanas then became angry at him because they were servants of Hiranyakashipu. They were sorry. And to chastise Prahlad Maharaj, they spoke as follows. To be continued. And they lived... Prahlad Maharaj lived happily ever after. Hiranyakashipu, not so much. Every day is an opportunity to take advantage of the gift of devotional service. And in realizing that we've been given a gift, we can develop gratitude. And to live in this gratitude for the gift that Krishna, that the devotees have given us, is a very joyous way to live, and it's a very progressive way to live. So let's take advantage every day of the gifts that we already have. And by doing so, we can feel complete satisfaction in our hearts. And also, we'll feel enthusiastic to give the gifts to others. And that's the purpose of our organization. Our Krishna Consciousness Movement, Prabhupada said, was founded by this gift-giving process. It means that dadati pratigranati guyamaketi prichati punkte bhojayate chaiva shadvidam pratilakshanam. Like last night, we were giving prasadam and books and allowing people, if they wanted to give something back. And giving the holy name freely, just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave it to us. And this was just a joyous occasion. Wasn't that such a nice Harinam last night? The Kirtan Oasis? And I was remembering, those of you who go way back here at ISV will remember the kiddie pack. Who remembers the kiddie pack? Come on, somebody. 1, 2, yeah. So the kiddie pack we invented, and somehow we haven't been using it for a while, but it was a very effective thing. A lot of people come by with their kids, and because the kids want to stop to see the Harinam, remember? Yeah. You were a kiddie back then when we were doing the kiddie pack. And so what we did, we put together these little, one of those nice plastic bag from Uline, and we put a coloring book and some crayons and a whistle and a Jagannath sticker, and also it had a lollipop in it, something like that. So when they would stop, then we'd go over and we'd give the kiddie pack to the kids. So I was thinking last night we should revive the kiddie pack, but I was also thinking that when people come in, they enter our program to dance, and a lot of people come in to dance in the Harinam. We should also give them a parting gift. So we should have a couple of boxes just there filled up with these packs. And we can put innovative things in each one of the kits to give out to the people who come visit the Harinam. And mostly we give to the people who are very engaged, and then, when they're leaving, they go away, we give them a parting gift. Like for the kids, what I just named, a coloring book and things like that. And for the adults, we can have a little button inside that says, I danced with the Hare Krishnas, something like that. Maybe a wristband. Those were really popular when we had those before. Everyone would come over, give me a wristband. We can have a really beautiful blue wristband or some nice color with Hare Krishna on it, or one of our sayings. Kirtan Oasis, Hare Krishna, and then our website for Kirtan Oasis website, and we can have a sticker. They don't mind stickers, adults, and maybe a couple other little things that are kind of interesting and fun that they can take away with them, and especially just they got the wristband and the button and things like that. And then, and then also another idea I'd thought of, and that was that to make these little cards from Prabhupada's purports and from various verses. It's like Pallavi picks out all the time now, like really nice quotes that can be put out there that really catch your mind, like a daily quote. So we put together a lot of them that are appropriate for the people walking down the street, say 108 different ones and different colored cards. Are there 108 different colors, Shraddha? There are. So then, so we put the different cards, make a nice little card, and then we can have like a table where people come over and take your wisdom card. That could be out in front next to the the book table. So we got a book table on one side, we got the free book table on the other side, and then we got the meditation booth in the back, which anyway we can reconfigure. But it would be nice to have a small table there with get your wisdom card, something like that. A really nice professional sign, and you could have. I don't know, Shraddha said, we could have one of the kids dressed up in a really nice way, standing there to give out the wisdom cards or something like that. And so people come by and they like that kind of thing. They can just pick up their card. It adds to the festivity, and they can take a little wisdom together a card. So giving. There's gifts on every side. Parting gifts for people who come join the chanting or the dancing. They get a gift. Other people, they can pick up a free card. Then they can buy books, they get prasadam and the whole thing. What do you think? Okay. Anyway, we'll make a prayer to Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, and all the great acharyas. May they empower us to and give us intelligence to see how to bring the Kirtan Oasis to world-class level, so that it's not only attractive to everybody that comes, but that also it's franchisable, so that we can export it to devotees who want to use many of the same concepts and the same brand, which is still in process, one of the hardest things. And may have to ask JP to help us on that. And then bringing it to the next level, so that it can revive the Hare Krishna movement by introducing street religion. So people can find religion on the street, and that can be their main temple, is to come there and feel wanted and an assembly of devotees who are chanting Hare Krishna and sharing wisdom and prasadam and all these great gifts. Thank you for considering our request, and everybody who agrees with this and has the same request and wants to join the prayer, please say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna! May it be so. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpadurusha kripasinabhevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Now we have the greatest privilege of worshiping His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in a ceremony we call Guru Puja. And so we'll put away all the asanas. We invite everybody online, if you'd like to stay and join us for the kirtan, you can get up and dance in your house or wave your arms out the window of your car. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, Hare Krishna. Would you like to join in and chant these very special prayers? First one by Raghunath Das Goswami. If you would like to, then say Hare Krishna. Namah Shreshtam Manamapi Shachiputram Matra Swarupam Shirupam Tasya Grajam Uruparim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. Hey Guru Gyanada Dina Bando Swananda Data Karunaika Sindho Vrindavana Sina Hitavata Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have attained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachimata, the association of Srila Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the beautiful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Shri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind to me. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and attain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando Mui Sava Dhanamate Bando Mui Sava Dhanamate Jara Prashadi Bhai He Bhavaturiya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoy Te Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoy Te Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Kuriya Aikya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koriya Aikya Anakori Ho Mane Asha Anakore ho mane asha Anakore ho mane asha Chakudan dilo je janme janme Prabhu she Chakudan dilo je janme janme Prabhu she Divya gyan mere prokashita Divya Gyan Vere Prokashita Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Abhija Vinasa Jate Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Abhija Vinasa Jate Deve Gai Jahara Charita Deve Gai Jahara Charita Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Lokena Lokera Jivana Lokena Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu Kora Doya Te Amore Parachaya Ah, Prabhu Kora Doya de Amore Parachaya Ebe Jash Kushikte Bhavana Ebe Jash Kushikte Bhavana Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya de Amore Parachaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Shrimate Namaste Saraswate Deve Kauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pushchatya Rishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Kali Kukur Kadan Jadi Chao Hai Kali Juga Pavana Kali Bhurinashana Shri Sachinandana Gao Hai Gadadhar Madhan Nitaya Pranadhan Advaita Prapujita Gora Nimani Vishwamba Srinivashishvar Bhakta Samuha Chitta Chora Nadiya Shashadar Maipurishwar Nampravatana Shura Grijana Shikshaka Nyasikula Nayaka Madhavarara Baba Pura Sarvabhuma Shodana Gajapati Tarana Ramanana Pushana Vira Rupananda Vadana Shanatana Palana Haridas Modana Dida Vajaras Bhavana Dushramata Shatana Kapati Vighatana Kama Shura Bhakta Palana Shuksha Jnana Tarana Chala Bhakti Dushana Rama Kali Kukur Kadan Jadi Chao Hai Kali Yuga Pavana Kali Boy Nashana Shri Shachinandana Gao Hai Yuga Pavana Hare Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rup Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath HG Gosai Kori Charanam Vandan Jahahoti Vignanash Habhishta Puran HG Gosai Jar Mutar Das Tansabara Parare Mora Panchagras Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Chalame Chaname Ho Avilan HG Gosai Jabe Bajri Kulabas Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Koila Prakash Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Koila Prakash Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Hari Bol Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Parima Juriyama Shri Guru Vaishnava Padma Koreyash Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottam Udas. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go Premanande, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Tai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki, Shri Harinam Mahamantra ki, Shri Harinam Prabhu ki, Go Premanande. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Go Premanande. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shri Shrimad Bhai Charanara in the Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shri Shrimad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokupinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki. Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki. Samveda Bhaktivinoda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande Haribo. Do we have an announcement from the Sankirtan department? I'm not hearing any voices from the sky. Any other announcements?
So, one announcement is today's feast is sponsored by Leena Mataji, who is cousin of Krishna Chaitanya Anand Prabhuji. It is his birthday today.
Haribo! Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Speech.
I just want to thank the devotees of ISV from whom I have derived a lot of inspiration throughout my life, and today morning for the wonderful lecture and the reflections. And especially something that stuck to my heart is the point where once you travel so many places and you come to home, then you feel at home. And I also read a quote which says, "Home is where the heart is, and heart is where the consciousness is. And if the consciousness is in Krishna, then we are Krishna conscious." So I request on that note to all the devotees to please consider praying and blessing me so that I may be able to serve and please the devotees and become a devotee in this lifetime and go back to Godhead after this lifetime. And
sadhu, sadhu. Anyone else like to make an announcement or express themselves in some inspiring or appropriate way?
Hare Krishna. We'll have from Western Sankirtan, 2 teams will be there going out.
2 teams for Western Sankirtan.
Yeah, one in San Francisco and other maybe in Santa Cruz.
Oh, that's a good idea. Santa Cruz is picking up. We have devotees stationed there now, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Very good. What other announcement? And how can they join your parties?
They can either contact me or Achyuta Chaitanya Prabhu.
I highly recommend contacting Madhava Govinda Prabhu in whatever way you can. And we have Kameshwari ready to make an announcement, I can tell.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we also have kids team going in Fremont and also one in Sunnyvale area. So
very good.
Today is the last day before we make offering tomorrow for Lord Ramachandra's MSF.
Which brings us to the point we have, we'll have a robust Mangal Arti tomorrow and a Srimad Bhagavatam class. And then there'll be a break in the afternoon and there'll be a regular time program, but extraordinary program because it'll be specifically to glorify Lord Ramachandra, and everyone will feel special ecstasy for tomorrow. So if you can, come to the Mangal Arti tomorrow, Bhagavatam class, and then come back for the evening program at 3:00 p.m. for Ramachandra's appearance day. And some devotees might want to know about fasting for tomorrow. Well, it just so happens that so many other people did too. Also, even the whole GBC body asked because there's so many different opinions. So the Shastric Advisory Committee wrote a very long paper about it. the conclusion is, according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, that there are various standards. According to the Hari Bhakti Vilas, one should fast from everything for 24 hours. According to Prabhupada's standard, that and some other Shastras, there's ways in which one should break the fast after the appearance, which was at noon. Other Gaudiya mats break fast at noon. Some take Anukalp or Kadashi Prasad and others don't. Prabhupada said to fast until evening time, but he always broke the fast at noon. There you have it. So, so we will be having a feast in the evening time. If you wish to break fast at noon, to do so, but certainly fast until noon for Ramachandra. And if you'd like to fast all night or fast until death, it's up to you. You may do so, but please don't. But do come to glorified Lord Ramachandra. We always have extra special mercy on this day. Also, as a congratulations to all the devotees who work together as a team to read the entire Ramayana study, summary study by His Holiness Bhaktivikas Swami. That was a very nice event. Every time we tune in, we'd see that there was the vibration going on, and it's really nice that the temple, that powerful vibrations coming to the temple, it inspired me to want to do that more here at the temple and have marathon readings at certain times. Didn't it, all of you? Yeah. We can set up various stations in the back for all of you to work from home and make sure there's strong enough internet. We can rotate through and things like that. We can read the whole Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, we can do. We can definitely do. Yes.
So Leena, who sponsored today's Prasadam, her brother's birthday is also there. His name is Surya. He's in India, so I request.
Let us pray to that Surya, for whom Hima is sponsoring today's feast, has good fortune throughout his life, that he has the power to always remember Krishna, that Krishna showers blessings upon him, and that he has good luck in everything that he does throughout this life and the next. All those who agree with this, please say Hare Krishna.
And today is also Ram Sundar Prabhu's birthday.
Ramachandra.
Ram Sundar Prabhu.
Ram Sundar Prabhu's. Okay. Well, we add that special prayer to Ram Sundar Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Right there.
Also, Ram Navami is also a special. We moved to this beautiful place in Bay Area on the day of Ram Navami, and one of our special devotee, Her Grace Vishaka Leela's birthday is also. So it always. Avantika also, yeah. Good. Avantika tomorrow. Also.
What? Tomorrow? Wow.
So whenever Ram Navami comes, it's especially I feel very joyous. It is one of the most significant milestones so far in our life, when we all came together from such a humble place in a storefront, then to Bascom, then to here. So I feel very happy when Ram Navami comes. That's a cumulative offering from all of us to Srila Prabhupada in the way things are moving, and the things will move more ahead. So
tomorrow we'll make a special prayer together for the next phase of our expansion here at ISV, which we envision as a full multi-purpose campus and with various satellites to accommodate the needs of all kinds of people here in the Bay Area to come and have a world-class experience of Krishna consciousness in art, culture, philosophy, music, and association. And last but not least, prasadam. Hare Krishna. Which brings us to Avantika's.
Hare Krishna. Today's prasadam was cooked by Hansa Priya Mataji.
Haribo! Sharirat Vijata Jotendriya Kahika Jibe Pile Vishaya Sagare Dharma jeji poyati loba muisu dumati Taki jeta katita shankare Krishna Bodha doya moy Kori bare chihwa jai Shaprasad Nadi Lobai Shayanamrita Pao Radha Krishna Guna Gao Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Dita Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Dita Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmari Vaishnave Tapa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwaso Navajayate Prasade Sarvadukanam Hanirasyo Pajayate Prasana Chetaso Yashu Bhuri Paryavatishtate Bhagavat Shri Mahaprasade Ki Go Premanande Nitai Gauda Haribo, 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 Nitai Gauda Haribo. Please come take prasadam, Haribo. Is there prasadam today? It's not a fast day? Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is there prasadam? Oh, please come take prasadam. I wanted to just see how to go from there.